What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Wide Eye Sports Podcast. We got a full cast and crew today. We got Riley, Dahl, Spoon, all the way over on the other side. We're going to get into everything Brandon Aiyuk today. We're going to talk about how much he should get paid, what it would cost to go and get him, what are the best teams that he lands on, like what are the best fits. We're going to get into everything and so much more, but first we're going to roll the credits. Dude, how's everybody feeling today?
Bro, what's up? It's just you look like a villain, bro. You look like a villain. I'm just wishing you were wearing like a white button up with white shorts, and then it's like, and then this is the scene where the protagonist goes to confront the villain, and then the protagonist finds out it was all part of the villain's plan, and then you're just high ties on the beach with the mountains in the background, like.
Well, my helicopter, I don't know if you hear, my helicopter's landing right over here right now. So give me a sec. It's my getaway vehicle, but I got to keep it running the whole time and make a slow escape. But all right. I am at the beach, as you can see. I'm on family vacation, but the show goes on. We record, we do put out, we get it out, we get the stuff, we get the news. So gotta be here for the boys. So, but I want to just jump right into things here. Brandon Aiyuk. Today it was released that he requested a trade from the 49ers officially. He wants to be out of San Francisco, which I think all of us saw coming, but there's been reports in the media of, oh, he's not going anywhere. Yeah, bullshit. Like, we knew he was getting, like, he was going to be asking for a trade. I don't think any of us expected him to play for the Niners next season.
Why would he want a trade?
Because he wants to get paid. He wants that money.
Yeah, I guess, but like, you're on a Super Bowl caliber team. Like, I don't know. I just don't think he's that good. I'm not putting him. I'm not putting him top 5.
I mean, what sucks in my opinion is that, like, I get that over the last 4 years he's only been averaging like $3 million a year, but this is the year that he on his contract that he's making $14 million. Like, you're about to get paid, dude. And then the following year, you go get more money. Like, why are you trying to cause chaos on a team right now? I know he wants to bag like maybe $10 million more at this point, which is probably about what he's worth in my opinion. I don't think he's worth over 30, but I can see like.
I mean, so let's get right into it then. Let's jump into this real quick, okay? Let's jump into this. So, Spotrac.com. It's a great website. It's similar to Over the Cap. I think it's a little better. You guys should look into it. Spotrac.com has his value at 4 years, $106 million at a $26.5 million a year average. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah. I like that. I'd probably go a little bit less, to be honest.
No, I called like 24 mil, so I mean that's right around the range that I would.
I was gonna say like 25 mil a year.
What would that put him in the grand scheme of things? Like, would that put him at the top 10 highest paid, top 5? Where would that put him?
Oh, let's look at it.
I was going to say, I am computerless today, so I can't tell you. I will say while Spoon looks that up real quick.
I imagine the narrative is going to play just as big a part of this. Like, he wants to be able to say, oh, I'm the so-and-so highest ranked or paid wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be the highest paid no matter what. So I don't know if he cares about being top 5.
If he gets the contract that you like, that your website, what's it called again? Call it out again.
Spotrac.
There you go. If he got that salary, he would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He'd be the 8th highest paid wide receiver in the league.
Wild.
So he's top 10. There.
He would make like 200,000 less than Cooper Kupp right now.
So let me ask you guys something, okay? Let me ask you something.
All right.
Is he better than Devonta Smith?
No. No, I don't think so.
Riley?
Man, I'd say they're the same guy.
I'd say. I mean, they're pretty close.
Okay. Is he better than AJ Brown?
No.
So no's across the board. Is he better than Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Hell no.
Nope.
Especially after
across
watching
the
that
board?
receivers doc. That doc is nuts, dude. I love that.
Yeah, we're gonna do. I feel like we should all binge that and then do a short episode on what we all thought of the show.
I
I feel
already
like that's
binged it.
something we should do.
I
I haven't
that
even
nuts.
started it yet. I'm gonna binge it this week. I haven't started it yet. I don't know about anybody else. Riley Spoon, you guys watch it yet?
8 episodes.
I
I watched
haven't
all
watched
8
it
episodes in one day.
Oh, that's impressive. All right. Next up, is he better than Michael Pittman Jr.?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So those are the 4 guys that were all, when they got paid, were about the same age and same statistical success as Brandon Aiyuk. And so this website, Spotrac, took those 4 guys and averaged out some stats for them right before they got paid, and then compared Brandon Aiyuk to them directly, their average. So we have 2 no's, a yes, and a 50-50, right? So roughly, he's in that area, right, of those guys. His receiving targets per game are down 25% on average. His receptions per game are down 24% on average. So those track, right? He's not getting as many targets, so he's not getting as many receptions, but it's about the same. So it's even. But his yards per game are only down 6%. So he's doing more with less, right? His touchdowns per game are up 5%. Even with the negative 25% receptions, right? He still has 5% more touchdowns. His yards after the catch, though, is where it gets interesting because he's down 25% total. So it goes back down to the less receptions, less chances. He does about the same as the other guys with the yards after the catch, but his quarterback rating is up 5% compared to the other guys when targeted. So he's right in their wheelhouse, if not doing a little bit more with a little bit less type situation. So he's very statistically similar to all of those guys. And all of those guys got paid when they were 25 years old, which is where Ayuk's at. And they got that, $26 million range contract. And I really believe that there are a couple of teams that would overpay him, a couple of teams that he would take a pay cut for, and then a sleeper team that I don't know how it would all shake out, but that I think he would be really good there. So we're going to jump right into that.
I was going to say, before we move on to teams, I just have a quick question for the guys, real quick, because I'm looking at the rank, like the list right here of the highest paid wide receivers, and I'm looking at the people that he would be paid more than. And I just want to get some quick opinions. I'm just going to list these guys off. That would mean that Brandon Aiyuk would get paid more than DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. Is he better than? I mean, I know that they're older.
The only name you went kind of quick there, but the only name that really stuck out to me is DK. That name sticks out a lot.
I would not pay him more than DK.
What about? Did you say DJ Moore?
I said DJ Moore. Yes, DJ
Moore honestly is one of the only ones that sticks out to me. All those guys you named really kind of sound like
they're towards the end of their career. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on the downward.
I didn't want to be the one to say the DJ Moore thing. I'm glad Dalton said it.
Well, I was gonna say, out of all those guys, he's gonna be. That means he'd be making $6 million more than DJ Moore, and he's not worth that. I'm sorry.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but when did DJ Moore sign?
Don't tell DJ Moore that. I don't want to pay him any more than.
Yeah, hold on. It
It
depends on when DJ Moore signed. If DJ Moore signed 3 years ago, then it would be about the same.
His contract started in 2023.
Yeah, I think he's still got a couple of years left on it.
He's got this year and next year still on his contract.
Yeah, but the highest paid receiver when he signed was $30 million. So that's 10 less than the highest paid.
So it still put him top 10 at the time.
Yeah. Put him top 10-ish at the time. Here's my question.
Go ahead.
Here's my question. Okay, I went through the Over the Cap website and looked at the top 10 salary cap teams over the next 4 seasons, right? Because he's going to want a 3 to 4 year deal, and he's going to have to go to a team that has the money to pay a receiver. So I went through all those teams, and then I crossed off teams like Minnesota, JJ. I crossed off teams like San Francisco, Detroit, Arizona, who just drafted a high-profile rookie, not really looking to add to the receiver position by giving up capital right now, right? And then I looked at the teams that are consistently in the top 5 to 10 range over the next 4 seasons. So that leaves you teams like New England, Washington, Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Those teams are all in the wheelhouse. And I think my 2 front runners, there's already been one report today that New England was interested. And we obviously know about his connection with Jaden Daniels, so that's the second one. So between Washington and New England, I think those would be the betting favorites and definitely the front runners right now. I mean, we are literally hours after this report. By the time this gets out, it'll be the next day, so we'll know for sure. You'll know for sure watching this. But as of right now, I would put those 2 as the betting favorites. My tier 2 teams are the Raiders, who are looking to get rid of Devontae Adams, who's unhappy. But if they could keep him and add Brandon Aiyuk, I think that would make him a little, take some pressure off of him, and they would have a really dangerous wide receiver duo.
Yeah, but I don't see Brandon Aiyuk going to join an unhappy Devontae Adams in a because Devontae Adams is unhappy because of the quarterback situation.
Well, let's just backtrack a little bit to the 2 teams that you said were the top ones. I don't see him going to New England at all. I don't think that happens.
Why not?
Because he's been a Super Bowl contender for the last 3 years. He's not going to go to a team that's rebuilding that he knows nothing of, but he knows Jaden Daniels, so I can see a little bit of a connection there. He knows what he's going to get with that quarterback throwing the ball.
Hold up. Hold the train, Spoon. You're thinking too hard on this. He doesn't have a no-trade clause. He doesn't get to pick where he goes.
I get
He gets to go wherever the Niners send him. So New England,
why would the Niners trade for him if they know that he's just going to be gone after his contract's up this year?
The high draft picks.
They're literally going to be trading.
You mean why would the Patriots? Why would the Patriots? Yeah. Because they believe once they get him in the building, they can change his mind.
I don't see that happening.
Bro,
it's hard to change.
Young rookie quarterback with a great arm. He's playing with a great, they hope is a good quarterback in the long run. You get a good defense behind him, and then you add a true weapon. You tell him, listen, we're going to make you the focal point of the offense. We're going to build this offense around you and Drake May. You are going to be our golden boy. And wide receivers like their egos. What were you saying?
I was saying Washington could do the same thing, though. They could come at him and be like, hey, like, Terry's getting a little older. We want you to be the number 1 guy for us right now.
Yeah, they could. But what if New England says, we'll give you a first, and Washington says, we'll give you a second and a fourth? Then you're sending him to New England. No question. You're like, I don't care where you want to go. You're going to New England.
But New England's not going to offer that.
I was about to say, is anybody going to give a first-round pick for Brandon Aiyuk? Like, maybe like –
I don't know. I think he'll end up going for like a second-round pick and a pick swap in like the 4th or 5th round. That's what I would say he's probably going to end up going for.
Especially with you having to pay him after you trade for him.
That's the thing that keeps the first-round pick off the table for me. Yeah. And you have to pay him. You have to have it. Yeah, you have to have a lot of money, which New England and Washington both have. But I would like to go back. We'll talk more about this in a second. I would like to go back to my tier 2 teams. My other tier 2 team, other than the Raiders, is Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers could greatly use a true number 1 wide receiver for Jordan. Jordan showed us the second. Hold on.
I was just gonna say. I'm surprised that you haven't said anything about the Chiefs yet. I mean, the Chiefs notoriously had a terrible.
Chiefs can't give up the capital. Chiefs can't give up the capital. They can't pay him, so they're off the board completely.
You just said my team. I have 2 teams that I really think he might go to, and Green Bay's literally the top.
They don't have the money. Like they don't have the cash.
They just restructured Patrick Mahomes' fucking contract.
Yeah, to pay other guys. Their whole defense still has to get paid. All those great young defenders they have, all those guys have to get paid.
True.
The Chiefs are not even on the table. Not even an option. But so anyways, hold on. I got two more teams here. Packers are one of them. So Green Bay, obviously Jordan Love showed us the last half of last season that he can be a really good quarterback. But the first half of last season was really rough. He looked like a borderline busty type of player, and then he got it together and played really, really well the second half of last season. So I don't know which Jordan Love I'm getting yet, and I would like to pair as much talent with him as possible. The Packers have some money, they have some draft capital, they can afford to do it. I think it would really put them over the top to have Josh Jacobs, Brandon Aiyuk, some of those young receivers and that young defense around Jordan Love.
Like
and
Christian
then my
Watkins.
last team, yeah. My last team is my sleeper team, and they have top 5 money. They're fourth or third in cap 3 out of the next 4 years, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just moved on from Deontay Johnson, and I think if you pair George Pickens with Brandon Aiyuk, with Najee Harris in the backfield, it would help whatever quarterback they end up with for the next 4 seasons. So I don't know how that one shakes out. They have the money. I just don't know if that's a Pittsburgh move going and getting him like that. Mike Tomlin used to be a wide receivers coach, and he tends to draft guys really, really, really well. So I don't know if they would feel the need to go and get a receiver like this. But those are my teams. I'm open to discussion on those teams and what you guys think it would cost to go and get him. I think, like I said a minute ago, I'm thinking like, if it's the Packers, right? The Packers give up a second and a fourth, and then the San Francisco 49ers send Brandon Aiyuk in a fourth, and then Green Bay signs him to the huge extension.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are you guys' thoughts?
I don't know if he'll go, because you want to, being like the 49ers, you want to think about the team that he's going to be sent to, because he's obviously a great wide receiver, so you don't want to send him to anybody that is going to be too much of a contender. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, if I'm the 49ers, I don't want to send him to a Green Bay or to who else did you mention?
Green Bay, or in the NFC, that would be Washington.
Yeah, any NFC team.
Washington. And
so they might not want to have him in the NFC at all.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Pittsburgh, I really like Pittsburgh, and I think they will probably have the highest draft pick of any team bidding for Brandon Aiyuk. So I really like.
I think New England would probably have the highest pick.
I don't think New England's going to go for him. Because
there's already been a report. They reported earlier today New England is definitely interested in trading for Brandon Aiyuk. It's already been reported.
Yeah, but if he's not interested, then what does it matter?
But it doesn't matter if he's not interested.
But what if?
Yes, it does, because he will be gone after this season if he's not interested. He'll go test the market again.
Why would New England give up a high second-round pick? Because that's going to be a starter on a rookie salary for the next 4 years. Why would you give that up and pay
to go and get what they feel is a true number one receiver? They feel he's a number one receiver, so they're going to go make a move to give their young quarterback a weapon because they don't have anything for Drake May right now. Nothing. They have nothing up there for KJ Osborne is who they have. Okay, like they got nothing up in New England. I don't think Brandon Aiyuk is a true number one receiver, personally. But obviously the NFL GMs and executives do, and 9 times out of 10, they know a little bit more than us. So that being said, I think it's a very high likelihood, given that there's already been a report within 4 hours of the news dropping, that New England is interested. I think it's very high likelihood. I would be very shocked to find out if they just were like, never mind. I mean, so if the Niners don't want to trade him in conference, so NFC's out, so that takes out off my list. That takes out Washington and Green Bay. You guys like Pittsburgh over New England and Las Vegas?
I definitely don't see
the Las Vegas one.
Yeah,
I don't see the Vegas one either.
Because jumping
it's just
back
the money,
to
they have the
Adams,
money. That's where Vegas comes from. They have the money, and if they move on from Devontae Adams, like Devontae Adams wants out, then they still have a good receiver.
But that's still moving backwards, in my opinion.
There's no reason for Brandon to go if Devontae is leaving.
They still don't have a quarterback.
So here, you guys are focusing on something that I think Spoon said earlier. You guys are focusing on winning football games. If Brandon Aiyuk cared about winning football games, he would take $15 million and stay in San Francisco. This dude obviously does not give a shit if he goes to a winner. He wants to get paid. Who will pay me the most money?
Yeah, but
that's what he cares about.
What's everybody saying in the league about Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers?
Yeah.
They can get there, but they can't deliver. You know what I mean? So like maybe he's
But they're also saying that this team has the most weapons of any other team. Like
they've said that for years now, and they still haven't won anything. And he's inside that building working with them so if he doesn't think they're going to get to a Super Bowl, why not ask out?
But where's he going to go to get to a Super Bowl? What team is going to give him a better shot right now this season if he's on that team? What team gives him a better shot other than Kansas City?
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay. If he goes to Green Bay, they're a playoff team.
You think Brandon Aiyuk makes them a playoff team?
I think they're already. I mean, they were already a playoff team.
I don't think that makes them a Super Bowl team.
I don't think it makes.
Yeah, that makes them a divisional round threat. That makes them a threat in the divisional round.
Guys that are gonna be upset whenever Detroit wins the division again. But if he goes to Green Bay, I think Green Bay has a legitimate shot to take on Detroit and become the top team in that division.
Oh, absolutely. I don't disagree with that. But Brandon Aiyuk is not a Super Bowl difference maker for this Packer team.
No, but I mean they have
they
have a chance to make a Super Bowl with him on the team.
Yeah, he'd be one of the most veteran players on that.
Chance.
Yes.
No.
They just
shot.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Shot.
Yes, Green Bay. I think honestly, he has a shot with Pittsburgh if he goes there.
I think so too.
I think that Pittsburgh defense is going to fall off hard.
Him the ball.
Justin Fields is a kick returner. We already talked about this.
Here's a team that's not really. They don't have the money right now to pay him, but they're going to have.
So then they're off the list. Then they're off the list. He only cares about getting paid. This makes because he only cares.
He still has 1 year. He still has 1 year on his contract, dude.
Brenner,
he's not going to go play somewhere.
You know what Brandon Aiyuk wants?
They don't have money this year. They got money next year to pay him, though. And that's the Chargers.
He has made it very clear what he wants. His actions speak louder than his words.
Chargers would be a really good spot for him to land.
Yeah, they could do that. They don't have enough money. They could do an extension deal. Absolutely. The Chargers would be great. Now, Jim Harbaugh doesn't like paying wide receivers, but if that were to change, I would love that landing spot.
Denver?
And I think Aiyuk would like that landing spot. You say Denver?
I don't see Denver.
Would they have the money to let him play out next year and then extend him after next year?
Who?
Denver.
I mean, Denver's got money,
have
period.
A high
but
draft pick too. I mean, that could interest San Fran.
I mean, 2 years or not this upcoming year, but obviously the next year they'll be 12th when it comes to salary space.
12 most?
Yeah, the 12.
I could see Denver potentially. I don't hate that. I just don't think that Sean Payton is really worried about getting a bunch of weapons right now. I think he's worried about building the team as a whole because the whole team is garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if trading.
I also feel like Sean Payton needs a splash move to kind of, with all the bad press they've had about how terrible they've been. Like, I think he needs something big to move on from that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, okay, all right. Speaking of moving on, I feel like we've talked this subject pretty much to death. I feel like there's not a whole lot more we can say on this right now. So I do want to close out the episode. We got a few minutes left here. We got about 5 minutes left here. I would like to talk about something else real quick, just for a couple minutes. Obviously, Aiyuk asking for a trade. I got 4 other names here of guys that I think could potentially want out or leave in free agency of the team they are on now. Number 1 on that list, Davante Adams, obviously wants out of Las Vegas. He's made that very clear.
He's going to
from what I've heard, from what I've heard about the Netflix series, he's been very open on that. And then obviously Aaron Rodgers made the comment the other day about getting Davante and stuff like that. So that being said, that
again,
that is option numero uno. The second name on my list is a running back. I'm going to bounce over to running back real quick before we go back to receivers. And that's Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's coming off another busted up knee. And I think that he could be really good on a contender next season. And his contract's up after this year. And I feel he's still young enough to get a contract for, 3 or 4 seasons. And if he looks good this year, I would not be shocked at all if he goes and tests the market, because I feel like he's still got some juice in those legs.
Yeah, and I don't think he gives anything to Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it sounds crazy, but he'll be older, a couple knee injuries. Watch out for him going back down to Atlanta and backing up Bijan. Could you imagine Bijan Robinson and Nick Chubb in the same backfield?
That'd be a really good duo.
Nasty.
That's a good.
So
that's a good
he played
one.
at University of Georgia. Yeah, he played at the University of Georgia. Just something to watch out next off season. That's way down the road. But I have 2 more wide receivers that could. One of them is this year. One of them is potentially next year.
Is one of them?
My first one is a trade.
I was gonna guess. Is one of them CeeDee Lamb?
One of them is CeeDee Lamb. I'll start with the other one. The one this year is Tyler Lockett of the Seahawks. He's an older, aged vet who could go somewhere and be a solid wide receiver for somebody like Kansas City. Somebody that needs a veteran presence in the wide receiver room that won't cost very much. I feel like you could get Tyler Lockett in the middle of training camp for a 4th to 6th round pick. And so he's owed a little bit of money from the Hawks. You take on that contract, you give up a late to mid-round pick, and you have a really solid veteran wide receiving option to help better your team.
Tyler Lockett to the Patriots more than Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah, that could work too. That's very reminiscent of like an Adam Thielen to Carolina last year, though, and I don't know if I want to go that route. So, but that being said, my last one, Dalton guessed it a minute ago, it is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb looking for that bag. He's looking to get paid. So who knows if Dallas is willing to, they can pay 2 out of the 3 guys, right? We've talked about it before. Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb. They got to pay 2 of those 3. I don't think you can pay all 3.
Dallas
were you gonna say
this all the time. They do this all the fucking time. They get a guy who's a number 1 guy, and they wait until the very last minute to fucking pay them. They still got some time left on Micah's contract. So I think they can go without paying him this year. And I think CD gets paid this year, and I think, if I were him, I would hold out, because we saw what happened with Zach Martin when he held out and then he got paid. He held out maybe, I think it was 2-3 days. He didn't go to training camp, and they paid him. Jerry paid him. So I think CD is going to get paid this year.
Here's my issue. And Spoon, feel free to chime in if you want on this. The issue is the total number or the total salary cap number. Like, you only have so much money. You can't reset the market for the three most highly paid positions. You can't afford to reset the market on all three on your team. Like, you can't afford to do it. It's not possible. You take up 50% of your cap.
Salary cap
goes up by like 10 to 20. Yeah, but it goes up by like 10 to 20. Next year, if you paid all three of those dudes market-breaking deals, you'd be taking 50% of your cap to 3 players. That's irresponsible, and that is a literal that's tanking. That's essentially tanking. You're being bad on purpose. Like, there's a 0% chance that happens, and I would pay CeeDee Lamb and I would pay Micah Parsons and I would go get a quarterback, because Dak is good, but Dak is not MVP, like Super Bowl quarterback good.
Tell me why. Tell me why exactly. Why is he not a Super Bowl quarterback?
Because the same reason Kirk Cousins isn't. When the moment shines brightest, he doesn't. You have to have a quarterback.
Would you take him or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson.
I'd be afraid to have either.
Literally the same quarterback. Great in the regular season.
Except one quarterback has 2 MVPs.
No, and Dalton, I'm on your Lamar Jackson is worse in the playoffs than Dak Prescott is.
That's what everybody said. Problem.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Dak Prescott is that he does great in the regular season and then he shits the bed in the playoffs. Who gives a fuck how many MVPs you have if you can't win the big game?
I mean, a lot of people care about MVPs.
I think my thing with quarterbacks is I think people put too much weight on quarterbacks. Yes, there is a lot of weight, but there are also play callers behind him. There's also, you got
absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that Dak Prescott was put in a bad situation. I don't think that Mike McCarthy
Dak Prescott is in one of the best situations in the NFL. He has a premier offensive mind behind him. He has a top 3 wide receiver.
Boss is Jerry Jones. Okay, that's about as bad as it gets. Jerry fucking Jones breathing back all the time.
But Jerry Jones isn't calling plays on Sunday.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been talked about. Like you look at things like people like Dalton Schultz, and this article that just came out a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago or whatever, about Mike McCarthy being fed up because Jerry Jones was trying to call plays. Because Jerry Jones was trying to call plays. He wanted certain plays to be called in certain moments, and he's overshadowing his coaching hire. He hires this guy who has a Super Bowl under his belt, but then he's still like, I still kind of want you to do it this way. I don't want you to do it your way. I want you to do it my way. And so that always trickles down through the coaches, through all that, and then onto the players, man. I mean, why do you think that Tony Romo was such a good quarterback and then nothing ever happened? I think it's just the Dallas culture. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's fair to say. I don't necessarily disagree with all that, but there's a reason that my top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL are Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Those are my top 2.
So let me rattle off some names then, and I want you to tell me if you would take them over Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts.
Dak Prescott.
Okay. Brock Purdy.
Dak Prescott.
Jared Goff.
Oh, Dak Prescott easily.
You take Dak Prescott over all 3 of those guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford.
You take okay. See, I got you. I knew you were gonna give me on that one. And then you already said Lamar Jackson. I already know where you're gonna go with this one. Josh Allen.
Probably Josh.
Okay.
Josh.
So, all of that being said, you still would go look for another quarterback?
Overpaid Dak $60 million a year? Yes.
You're already gonna take that cap hit.
What do you mean? You're not already gonna take a.
I mean,
no. If he walks, you don't owe him any money.
You're gonna have to move on from him at some point eventually. Why not do it before you're paying
Dalton, hear me out. Dalton, all right, hear me out.
Starting to regress.
Let me ask you this: if you had to pay 2 out of the 3, who were you paying?
That's what I mean. I mean, that's a really hard decision.
Because that's the only option. There is no pay all 3 option. It's non-existent. You cannot do it. You have to pick 2. And CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons are going to be competing with each other for highest paid non-quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't see. I think you give Micah a shorter term contract, and you give CeeDee a
Then he's
longer.
going to walk. Then he's going to walk. Micah Parsons isn't going to play for a short-term contract. Micah's going to look at you and go, I've earned this fucking deal. Make me the highest paid defensive player. Period. End of story, or I'm walking.
What did Myles Garrett's contract just do? What did he just get paid?
It was actually, I don't know what Garrett got paid, but Bosa was after him, and Bosa was at $34 million a year.
For how many years?
4.
I think out of those 3, you pay CeeDee Lamb no matter what. I think he is the guy you
pay CeeDee Lamb and you pay Micah Parsons. You pay CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons.
I mean, I don't disagree. I just think they got to figure something out.
You just can't pay Dak $60 million a year.
You can't.
You just can't pay Dak $60 million.
I don't think he's worth $60 million. I love Dak to death.
Well,
but
we've gone like 6 minutes over here. We're trying to keep the episodes a little shorter for everybody. We appreciate everybody sticking around. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff down below. We appreciate you. We will see y'all in the next one. Have a good one, boys.
Good pod.
There we go.
Oh wait, still recording.
I can't. It's not one to end here. There we go. The computer's in the sun. It's overheating.